Started. I am Sherry Pryor. I'm the DFC treasurer, and I'm going to be hosting the meeting for today. So you're going to see me up here quite a bit. I'd like to welcome everybody who's here in person and welcome everyone who's on Zoom with us this morning. And I wanted to start by reading our mission statement as we do at the beginning of the meeting. The Dixie Fire Long-Term Recovery Group, known as the DFC, Dixie Fire Collaborative, is a collaboration of nonprofit, faith-based, local, state, or national organizations that work together to share information and resources that can help address the needs of individuals and families affected by the Dixie wildfire. The stated mission of the DFC is working to fulfill the unmet needs of Dixie Fire survivors and helping to rebuild the communities of Greenville, Indian Falls, Canyon Dam, and Warner Valley. All programs shall support this mission and purpose, and all who work for or on behalf of the DFC shall understand and adhere to that purpose. Gives me goosebumps. I want to thank you for your kind attention this morning and also for your respectful comments and for all our presenters today. I also want to wish to all the fathers a happy Father's Day tomorrow, so it's a little bit early. And thank you for taking on the responsibility to provide for your family. Teach your children well by being a good role model and enjoy the laughter and love that comes with that role. Thank you. As for me, I taught elementary school in Butte County for 25 years before coming to Greenville. And when I retired, I moved to Paradise. And I lost everything in the campfire, except what was in my car. And then I decided I didn't want to live in Paradise and do that again in 10 years because the previous fire was in 2008. So I decided, where's the next small town? And I moved to Greenville. And I'm very happy to be here because I found community that I've never found any other place that I've lived, and good friends and lots of opportunities to be of service to the community here in Indian Valley. So I really enjoy being here. My house was 6 blocks down on Bush Street, down from the school. So I lost my house in the Dixie Fire as well. But I'm very happy to be a part of the Dixie Fire Collaborative and to be able to be of service and do what I do as treasurer and also help out with Rotary and the museum as well. So I'm very happy to be here. I have a group of women that I've been with. Most of them are retired teachers like myself, and they come to visit once a year, and they were here 2 Sundays ago. And they wrote some poems for the community. I said, do you have any words that you'd like to share with the community? So one of my friends, Jan, wrote a poem called Encouragement. We are grateful for our rain, our sunshine, our healing, our restoration. Difficulties make us appreciate the seasons of growth, our families, our friends, the silent contributors we may not know, but bless us as we heal, as we grow, as we restore, as we replenish ourselves, our town, our community, healing all. Love penetrates the blackness, the ashes, the tears. Embrace your courage to heal, to grow, to restore. Your energies are not for naught, they are for all. And that's from my friend Jen for our community. Yeah, I'll let her know. Okay. I kind of changed things up with the treasurer's report, so I'd like to share that with you now. Thank you. We had our first 2 checks from PG&E, which have always been there. But the North Valley Community Foundation has invested our money in a treasurer's bill from April through October of this year. And we have so far earned $13,806.04 in interest. And that's a payment for April and a payment for May. So that's the good news. Our numbers are going up. So that's now we have that. Great. I broke out that these are the grants. I had a long chronological list of expenditures. And so this is a little bit better, clearer organization, I believe. These are all the grants that the Dixie Fire Collaborative has contributed to. These are huge grants that have at least 1, 3, 4, or 5 donors. that leverage their money and contribute to. So these are the ones that we have contributed to that have been on the list all this time. The newest one being the outdoor youth program for May through January, which I hear is going very well. So that's wonderful for the kids. So our total grants were $331,851. And then our list of expenditures. We have the fees, and last meeting in May, excuse me, I delineated all the services that North Valley Community Foundation has provided for us in the last year and 4 months. And that is listed as a slide on the DixieFireCollaborative.org website. And I also have that with me, but I wasn't going to go through that today. I spent time last meeting delineating all the things that they've done for us. So these are our expenditures that have been on our list for quite a while. I shortened up some of the descriptions and put all the audio visual equipment for our meetings together. And those two things. So our total expenditures are $90,952.06. Our current balance with our account at North Valley Community Foundation is $2,592,502.98. Then our commitments are still the same. We are committed to up to $150,000 to help with the cleanup of the historical buildings, and the $48,000 for Indian Falls Water System phases 1 and 2, and our communication technician for 6 months, which brings us to $201,010 for committed funds. Thank you. And so our total commitments and expenditures are $623,813.06. And when we divide that by our total of the PG&E money with our interest and a contribution, we still have only committed and spent 21% of our money, and we still have $2,391,492.98 available for the DFC funds. And I believe that concludes my report. Thank you. Okay, we can come back to Kira. Okay, great. And Ken Donnell, the little dozer that did. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Oh, got to get in front of the camera. Hi, camera. Oh, we have a spot. Hey, yay. Hi, everybody. Donnell, KD, back in Greenville, soon going to be living here, and happy to talk more about the little dozer that did coloring book, which is proving to be a huge success out there in the world of disasters. And that this appears to be the only resource available for young children to help them in the moment when they are displaced by any type of disaster, and specifically wildfires. And we're getting requests far and wide for this book, and specifically from the flood evacuees down in the Central Valley. And be prepared for a sequel to the little dozer that goes down and helps people that are experiencing floods, because the little bitty dozer is a good thing to have in any kind of disaster. So it's going to keep on going. Maybe someday we'll even have a little children's hour on PBS with a little dozer. That all started here in Greenville. And so I want to let everybody know that we have a big celebration planned for Thursday, August the 3rd at the Peters Ranch in North Arm. And that's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m. The real little dozer upon which this story was based will be there, and there will be hot dogs and ice cream for everybody who wants to show up. And I have extra copies of this available if anybody did not get one last time. And because of request, I even have some little packets of crayons, because somebody said, "Where's my crayons?" And I went, "Oops, okay." So we have crayons today. So they're in the back, and I do have ice cream today. And so you're welcome to come back there. And I just want to thank everybody who was involved with creating this coloring book. It was the whole committee involved in it. I want to thank Rotary for the funding to print the books, And we have distributed a free copy to every elementary school child in Plymouth County during the last month. So they all have this. And if you know anybody who needs one, please, we want to get these out to everybody who does. And just look for a lot more little dozer things to happen in the near future for us. So thank you to the committee. Thank you to the DFC. Thank you to everyone. And let's celebrate this one great success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All good news. John Bystra is here to speak with us.
Good morning, everyone. I just had to check the time. Didn't know what it was. So I'm from DTSC. Kimmy Tucci, she's sitting back there somewhere, also from DTSC. You've probably seen her around a lot more than me, but we're here. We've got contractors out there doing what we call the time critical removal action in Greenville, what you may know as contaminated or lead contaminated soil removal. And then, you know, the activities associated with that in Greenville. Next slide. So we started in, we technically started last year, but it was late in the year. We only got some of the work done. So we restarted in June once we thought, the rains are probably over. Well, you've all seen what has happened recently, but before those rains hit this last weekend, the first week of June was just kind of a ramping up. We had 2 excavation crews out there. I think we only had maybe 1 backfill crew or no backfill crews. This last week, we had 3 excavation crews and 4 backfill crews, each with, you know, all their spotters and everything. So the goal, why we have so many people out there right now, is we want to complete all this work in 2023. And one of the things to let the property owners know, which we've already done kind of through the program that people have signed up for to get access to have their property cleaned up, is people will get a letter of completion. Once they get that, the idea is, hey, we're saying your property has been cleaned up, it's been backfilled, whatever activities needed to take place, whatever permits you need, you know, to be able to get to start building on your property. At that point, that's when people should be able to start, you know, get whatever services they need, mostly permitting. So as you can tell, since the rain came last weekend, you know, weather is a big concern. Not that we're looking for more weather to cause problems, but, you know, our contractors are out there. They've, like, I hear sometime last week, there was a concern with lightning. Obviously, you got a big construction vehicles, big excavators. Last thing you want is lightning coming in, striking your vehicle, whether someone's in it or not. So the weather and the other construction, some of these companies here on the slide, it's been deleted. There's been a lot of work by PG&E. We're trying to make sure that as we were moving down Main Street, that we're advancing ahead of them so that they didn't interrupt our work and we didn't interrupt theirs. But also, Indian Valley has been out looking to redo water lines. Frontier has been out for doing fiber optic cable for internet, I believe. And Caltrans, I haven't seen Caltrans that much. I mean, really, when I look around, I mostly see PG&E. But with all of these, bless you, with all of these, we want to just make sure that whoever's doing work to help rebuild Greenville, you know, we don't get in their way, they don't get in our way. So there's a lot of coordination that happens, but things aren't perfect. Last week, you know, we had a lot of trucks coming in and out of Greenville. And with that, you know, there's going to be slowdowns. So when I say like we're ramping up work, I'm not using that to just say like, oh, you're not going to be able to get anywhere, but just recognize there's people out there trying to do a lot of work to help rebuild Greenville. And we, you know, we want to get that work done, but we also want to do it in such a way where we're not just not getting in each other's ways of the people on this board, but all the people out here and all the people in Greenville that are just trying to get around and get their things done on a daily basis. So just to give us an idea of what our process has been, those first 2 steps were already, you know, completed for everything. You know, we gave everyone We basically contacted everyone. We gave everyone the option to enter our program. And if they decided not to, then they didn't enter our program. That's it. But if they did, last year and this year, we're doing the work at figuring out what needs to be excavated at their properties, if it does, if it needs backfilling. And then once that work is done, property owners will be able to take a site walk to be able to see what was done, what was left. And in many cases, it's not just, hey, this whole extent of the property is just dug up. No, quite often people have things that they want left behind, or there might be like concrete steps, or there might be a concrete pathway or something like that. We're trying to not mess with those things that much, because really it's the contract that we have is they're not really equipped to come and do that. But there's a lot of local people who know others who can come and remove those things if they think they need to be removed, old steps that got damaged in the fire or something like that. But then we're also coordinating with Loomis County. When we get done with things, we let them know. And that letter of completion is normally our step where we say, hey, we send this to the property owner, and that's their indication that, hey, the property's been handed back to me. The work has been done, so I can go and I can get permits to rebuild or to do whatever I need to do. And then this completion review, we have reports that we document for ourselves what work was done here, to make sure that if in the future people have questions, or we have other projects like this. I mean, Greenville isn't the only town that's suffered a tragedy like this. So if they happen again in the future, we get involved with projects like that, we can look back at these and try to do it even better the next time, weather permitting. So just to let you know, if you have general questions, you have comments, you want to get in touch with us, but you don't remember Kimmy's name and you don't remember my name. We have on our DTSC website, we have a webpage devoted to Greenville, and that's the website hyperlink at the bottom. We have a, toll free and a regular phone number and an email address that you can just, if you're going to throw out a comment or whatever, you can do that. Obviously you can mail us as well. So these two people are our public participation specialists that are helping, just keep in touch with the people in Greenville, let them know what we're doing, find out what they need to know from us. If you really want to reach one of these two people though, Jessica Mendoza is the better one. She's the one who's kind of been in Greenville, more boots on the ground. So. And then lastly, I'm John Bystra. Kimmy Tucci is out there in the audience, but if you wanted to get in touch with us specifically for whatever reason, our email addresses and phone numbers are there. So go ahead and give us a call or send us an email. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we have Natasha Wiener with PG&E on Zoom.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me today. I just want to give a quick overview and update, and then I'll take a couple of questions, Taylor, if that's okay, right afterwards. If there's any issues, just let me know. But if you want to go to the next slide, I'll just overview. As John stated, we are definitely heavy in the community, doing a lot of work, trying to get a lot of our projects completed. We have multiple project managers who are facilitating multiple projects all throughout the community in order to make the most headway we can before the weather returns. So we're currently working on Highway 70 and Highway 89. Some of the projects are on the outskirts of Greenville and will be moving directly into Greenville at the end of June, beginning of July. So the Highway 89 and Highway 70 projects are continuing with traffic control. At the end of June, we'll be actually entering onto Highway 70 in the Crescent Mills area. And then again, you'll be seeing us starting our projects within Greenville the end of the month into July, and then that will continue for about 8 weeks. We hope to get as much done within Greenville before school starts as our goal. Next slide for me. To restore your PG&E services, a question I'm receiving a lot lately is, hey, you guys are on my street and we're doing the main line work. Can you just connect my property while you're doing that? I want to make it clear that there's a 90-day experience that's expected with restoring services at each property. So we have the main line, which you're seeing the majority of our crews completing throughout your community right now. And then each specific property has to be designed, inspected, improved, has to have a county permit, et cetera. So there's quite a few steps for each of your properties to get services restored. And it does take about 90 days. In order to restore your services and to get that project started, go to yourprojects-pge.com. You'll fill out an application. You might not know all of the answers to the questions that are asked there. That's okay. The important part is that you fill out the application and the details can be really figured out with your project manager, Matt McGregor, who you guys have met in the past. If you go to the next slide for me, I just want to highlight some of the resources. I'm always a step for you. I might not always know the answer, but I can find the person who does. If you have any questions or concerns, there's no harm in reaching out to me with anything, whether it's a phone call or a text message. I found texting is the best way, being that we all know the service in that area. It can be rough sometimes. You also can call our main line, the 1-800 number that you see on the screen, or email our rebuild team at rebuild@pge.com. Taylor, is it okay if I take a question or two if there are any?
Okay. Oh, Dan.
Good morning, Tasha. I
Hi.
have heard that if we're getting our services reestablished, the minimum that we will get will be 200 amp service. Is that true?
So when you restore your services on your property, it will be like for like. What you had on your property before the fire is what we are going to be replacing back after. So if you had 200 amp before, then that's what would be going back. If you had 400 amp before, you would be going back for the 400. There's flexibility. We recognize that you guys are going to be putting, changes as you build whatever your next steps are. So that's where you would talk directly to Matt and discuss what's changing and how it might impact that restoration.
I had heard that if we were below 200 amp, we would be upgraded to 200 amp automatically. So what you're telling me is that's wrong. If we have
No.
100 amp, we're going to get 100 amp.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
sorry. Thank you for clarifying. I just assumed you were asking about the 200 amp. You might be right. Let me see if I can get an answer before the end of the meeting, and I will text Sherry and Taylor and Jane and see if I can get the answer to you before you leave today. I do not know the correct answer. I have an assumption, but I'm not going to state that. I'll get the right answer and get it over to you.
Hi, Natasha. This is Matt Fogarty over in Crescent Mills.
Hi, Matt.
Do you have a best estimate for when the generators might be turned off and power restored?
So the Highway 89 job that you guys are seeing us try and get through as quickly as possible is slotted for midsummer to be completed. Once that job is completed, and why we've prioritized it is because it's going to connect your community to the Canyon Dam. And so the Canyon Dam PG&E facilities. And so when that takes place, we can remove that temporary power generation that's currently feeding your community. A date I do not have, but the plan is getting Highway 89 job completed, tie into the Canyon Dam facilities, and that will then allow us to go through the process of bringing that generator down. So if all goes well and as planned, hopefully by the end of the summer.
Any other questions? Thanks, Natasha. Any other questions for Natasha this morning? Okay, looks like you're free to go, Natasha.
Thank you. I'll try and get that answer for the.
Okay, thank you. I was going to go back and pick up with Kara Wattenberg King for the Chamber of Commerce and the spot.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry I was late. Usually we're slated a little later in the agenda and I didn't take the time this time to see where we were slated. So I apologize. I'm going to put on my chamber update hat first. Today we are having a chamber mixer and that's open to the public. Come and have some appetizers at our booth and for the purpose of the grand opening of the Indian Valley thrift store. So really encourage all of you to come by. We're super, super excited that that's getting back open. I believe they're going to be able to start taking donations next week or the week after, June 20th. And I know everybody's really excited about that as well, but come on by. Everything's looking great over there. They have worked so hard over the last couple of weeks. It's really, really exciting. I hope you all think so too. That'll be followed by rolling into the spot, just some events in there. So the ribbon cutting for the thrift store will be around 2:30, I think 2:30. The chamber mixer will be going on from 2 to 6, kind of just an open house style. We have some line dancing and music. I saw that the food was open over by the gas station over there. I think that maybe the hot dogger is open today, and the Two Broke Girls, is that the name of theirs? Yeah, I think they're open. I believe Grizzly Bite has come over to the spot and is providing some food. Of course, the Way Baby is open. But we'll have some line dancing starting at 6 o'clock and some teaching. So come on by and get some lessons from a pro dancer who happens to be my niece, Lauren Wattenberg. And I'm not sure if we're going to continue on with karaoke and some music afterwards, but I sure hope so. So come on by and enjoy the sun and the wonderful day. Back to the chamber hat. We have had some great meetings and some great progress. We're working on a new website, a new logo, all kinds of great stuff with that. We need people to come and join the chamber. That's why we're having the mixer. Come and be involved. We have lots of members, but not a lot of involvement. And it's really important that we get everybody involved, and that could just be heading up a committee that is kind of near and dear to your heart. We recently had a woman that's involved with the Plymouth News who was very excited to come on and help with our media kind of committee. And that would be everything from the new website to just getting media out and, Facebook and Instagram and all those sorts of things. So if you have an interest, you don't have to be a full blown, come all the time member, but, just heading or being on a committee that's of interest to you would be really helpful in the community. I know we're all doing a lot, and I know that, but if there's anything you can give to, help building the businesses around here, that's what we're all working towards. We have Gold Diggers coming up. So please come to the Gold Diggers Planning Committee meetings. Please come to Gold Diggers. Third weekend in July, as always, on a Saturday. That's the 15th this year. And I'm not sure where the committee meetings are meeting, but they're Thursday at 5 o'clock. If you could contact Christy Hazelton or me, I'll get you in contact with her. Anyone that would like to come and help with that, the more the merrier. We want this to make our as great as it's always been. After that, we're going to have the anniversary, the August 4th. So we need to start some planning on that too. I've heard Dan Kearns is going to be heading up some of that committee to help the other folks that are already in the works with that, but helping kind of get some more, maybe looking forward not festival, but thankfulness in the moving forward aspect of our anniversary on August 4th. So those are the upcoming things. Please come out to the mixer, enjoy, become a member of the chamber. As always, the spot is open to everyone. Cass Porter and his group have finished the foundation work on it. So we're in the process of, I'm not sure, not quite totally official on the greenhouse, but that's really exciting. And they have all the men, Travis, thank you. I'm not sure, I don't have my glasses on how many other ones are here who have worked on that. All of you have done amazing. And again, please come and enjoy the spot. If you have a special event that you'd like to go there, we need to work with some insurance through Cassie Barr, who owns the lot, but it's open to everyone. Love more food vendors out there. I hear there's a sandwich truck coming, but we're trying to, make that a great spot for everybody to enjoy. So thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Great. Jonathan Cusel, please come up and share with us this morning. And great question.
Thank you very much. I actually have two different things, and I'm not sure where you want these because we're going to do the also where we are with the rebuilding homes, and perhaps I start with that. That's okay. Sure. So briefly on that, and then I'll ask Dave Kinnetiter to join me from the Plymouth National Forest to talk about the North Fork Forest Recovery Project. So rebuilding homes with mass timber. I think many of you are quite familiar with what we're doing. But first slide, please. This is a slide I've shown a number of times, and this was the projected model. And This is the 2-bedroom home that I'm actually really proud to report. Next slide, please. That's the process. I think you've seen this one before, and there it is. It's done. KD was very gracious in being involved in the way that he is. This is KD's home to be. And he's had told me he's heading over there today to do some more work on it. Cross-laminated timber with metal siding, fire-resistant home. We also said to folks that we would provide Peyton Rancic, who is out of town, which is why I'm here talking about this now. We have home hardening brochure, put some on the table back there, have some here, so you can see why we're using this material, what makes it unique. So just a couple pages about mass timber. We're pretty excited about sharing that, and the other houses, at Hamrick and Lights Creek Construction have done a marvelous job with the projects, a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom. And so as you saw in the last slide, open house to come, hopefully perhaps right after the Dixie Fire Collaborative meeting next month, we'll do an open house. We'll announce that, and we may have our architects come down from Seattle to talk more about building with mass timber. And we're also really excited about turning in, we had a goal of turning in these plans for the roundhouse rebuild. And the Syria Institute put in some of its settlement dollars to launch the planning. The goal was to turn in plans by June 1. We actually did it. So the planning department. And let me just say, this has been a collaborative project from the get-go with the Roundhouse Board and the executive director, Mary, working through the design iterations. And that's when they said, hey, can we do a roundhouse? There it is. It's designed, it's a mass timber structure, and it has a roundhouse. Happy to share more of the design work. So we're counting on the PG&E settlement to pay for a fair bit or much of this, and we're still working through that. So as you can imagine, any of you who know anybody that's trying to do a rebuild, or you're trying to do a rebuild, the timing on getting the funding in place and getting the contractor and getting the permitting and having the design work and all of that, we committed to doing the design work and getting it done. And thanks to the planning department and building department, they're merging their efforts to expedite, to move this through so we can get this up because of the importance of the roundhouse to the community and our youth in the community. So the goal is to actually have this up and operational, dare I say again, before the snow flies, but in the fall or late summer, if we can pull it off. So we're moving forward. We're optimistic that the settlement will be in place. But as everyone knows, you've got to line out the contractors, you've got to line out mass panels. There's a 6-month wait for panels. We're already working with folks, Peyton and I, along with some other folks, we're going from booth to booth at the Mass Timber Conference in Portland, saying, hey, we've got this great project. Can we get some panels? Can you work in this project? Folks said, send us the design and we'll look it over. Design was sent out. We have 2 different ones, and somebody came back within about 3 days with their estimate and their timeline. So we think we can get panels in time, provided we will have the permits in order, provided all that happens smoothly. But then the big, or the sticky wicket, if you will, of course, is the settlement, getting the money to do that. So super excited and happy to work with Roundhouse Council to bring this back to the community on their site. Okay, next slide, please. And I think Dave, come on up here, please, and join me for this. And so last thing, as Dave comes up, handout. I have plenty of these here. Again, some of these are, there's some more back there if you want it. You do not have to take it. You get it on our website, and we'll get this posted. Ask folks to post it on the Dixie website as well, the collaborative website. So I'll let you do the introduction if you like.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, sorry, I'm Dave Kinnetetter. Our district ranger, Joe Hoffman, could not make it here. So I'm standing in for him. So, basically the Forest Service is very overwhelmed with all of the amount of project work that's out there. And so we're farming off a lot of these portions. A portion of it is called Protect. And another big portion is Recover. So Protect, I'm more involved in the Protect side. And that's sort of the green side that hasn't burned, you know, how do we keep Gray Eagle from burning up and Quincy and those areas? So I'm more involved in that. But the other two portions are two recover projects. And so the Sierra Institute, this is their baby, right?
Yeah, and I'm standing in for my staff who are out of town too, to talk about what this is. So here's the area. And this is the North Fork Forest Recovery Project. And all of you know who have any sort of familiarity with the agencies, and I say any federal agencies, one has to do the environmental analysis work. So Sierra Institute has put together a team for doing this along with some others. We're launching into this. So this is obviously really important to all of us. What happens on this landscape, both in terms of the recovery and going forward, what it ought to look like, what sort of treatments ought to happen out there. So all in all, this is as you can see, 167,000 acres. Fair bit of work to do that. We aren't going to walk every inch of it, but we will be doing an analysis of that landscape. And of course, as part of that, we will be involving the public. And so we're working with the agency to make that happen. Next slide, please. I'm not going to read all these things, but this is essentially the objectives. There's 8 or I think 9 of them. So I'll let you just look at it, but reducing threats, improving conditions, managing, interpreting cultural resources, dealing with invasives, reestablishing native plant species. Next slide, please. Make this place safe, restore landscape and recreational features, improve and maintain roads. That means some will be decommissioned. There will be some roads probably put in, and of course, tie into economic opportunities and work with community partners in this process. So this is in the document. Next slide, please. And here's the public meeting. So one of the things we wanted to share with folks to let you know, and Dave brought some flyers that folks can grab out the door. The first one is really fairly soon at the historic Taylorsville Hall, June 21. And then we'll be here July 13th at the elementary school for an evening session as well. And then Greenville Elementary, July 19th. Note the focus areas. So there's a deliberateness to these meetings where we're going to tackle particular areas. This is not the sum total of the involvement process. This is the initial part of the involvement process. So wanted to share that with you all today. Next slide. I think that's it. Okay.
So a really great opportunity for you guys to get, involved in that planning process and make sure, you're getting what you need out of the Forest Service landscape. So yeah, if you got interest or your property is close to Forest Service, make sure you jump on those meetings and provide some input.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Susan Joy is here to speak to us about the California College of the Arts.
So, hi everyone, I'm Susan and I'm here with Vicky and Arturo. And we're actually summer interns for LMNOP, and we're going to start off with reading a kind of a letter of appreciation. So, dear Greenville community, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, Copper Creek Camp, and the Dixie Fire Collaborative for welcoming us and providing us with this opportunity. We are immensely grateful to you and excited to spend time in your vibrant and inspiring community, and we cannot wait to create meaningful connections and make a positive impact during our time here. Thank you for opening your doors and hearts to us, and we are honored to be part of your wonderful community. With sincere appreciation, LMNOP Design Intern. So we're here part with LMNOP, as many of you know, is Tyler Pugh's design firm. And so this opportunity, he reached out to a variety of different schools, including CCA, UPenn, who have had partnerships with Greenville before, and also reached out to U of O and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. So we got students from all over. Some of us are recent grads, some of us are still continuing school. And then we can move on. So this is a slide just showing all 10 interns, just putting names to faces and faces to names. And so, as you can see, it'll be 10 of us. A couple of us are based in SF, but we'll be popping in and out every so often. So you'll see a lot of us here. The next slide, please. So we'll be here for about 10 weeks. And so this is kind of a rough guideline of what we'll be doing around here. So we're going to kick off this week with the Kid Mob workshop. And then we'll be working on creating the student work exhibition, making it really nice and cohesive. We'll be here at the DFC meetings. We'll engage in lots of community conversations, and then we'll be working on a site model of downtown. And we'll do some canyon dam planning and of course, a lot more. And so as for Greenville, we'll be working on creating town drawings. And these are just a few examples of what we will hope to achieve by the end of the internship program. And then the next slide kind of shows additional drawings as well. But yeah, we're just excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Welcome, and we're happy to have you here as well. Indian Valley Innovation Hub, Laura Wheeler.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Innovation Hub. My name is Laura Wheeler. I'm the director of Innovation Hub. And I just want to give you an update on everything going on with Innovation Hub. Of course, here's our committee. We have Clint, who I think everyone's familiar with, John Stefanik, the fair manager, Kest Porter, everyone knows Kest, and Ted Stout. Next slide, please. So here's an update for the CARES Act. I talked about it at the last meeting. At the last meeting, the CARES Act funding was a forgivable loan, and things have really simplified for that. It's now going to be a grant. Here's more information about CARES Act. There's $409,462 available in Plumas County. It's funding from the federal government to promote economic stability. And it's for micro businesses only. So there must be 5 employees or less, including the owners. Business owners can apply for up to $50,000. It's first come, first serve. So when the application comes out in mid-June, people should be ready. We've been trying to gear them up for this. We're expecting to get new guidelines from the Plumas County Planning Department next week, and we want to do a workshop on that. I don't have the details yet, but if you go to the Plumas County Planning Department website or follow Innovation Hub or get on our email list, we'll make sure and get that information to you. Next slide. Next week, we also have a bookkeeping workshop. Mary Cheek, CPA in Chester, and Clint Cobley are going to be facilitating that. And it'll be at the spot. And if you can't make it to the spot, you can join via Zoom. Next slide. Oh, I have flyers on the back table about the workshop as well. And the entrepreneur rally at the golf course on Saturday, June 24th. So next weekend. And anyone that wants to come talk about economic development or business development or wants to get involved in a project, has a big idea, needs some support, we'll try and get you that support, and you can get on your soapbox if you want at the entrepreneur rally. It's just a place where anyone can come talk freely about what's on their mind about the rebuild. It's not limited to business owners. Non-business owners can come. Pretty much anyone interested in the economic recovery. Next slide. And here's something I'm kind of excited about. This is our Made in Plumas County booth that we just ordered. Right now, product makers are applying product makers that make products in Plumas County. After they apply, they're going to be listed in our online Made in Plumas County business directory for product makers. And we're getting that booth up and running for special events right now. So you'll be seeing it down at the spot. It's going to feature local products from all throughout Plumas County. I'm hoping I can find a woodworker to make some river tables for the front of it, because I think they would look really nice in there. So the next thing we're going to do once we get the booth and the product makers directory at the website up and running is we're going to start collaborating with retailers, both inside and outside Plumas County. Next slide. And this is another program we're developing right now. It's the Online Business Resources Directory. And our goal with this is to provide greater accessibility in connecting Plumas County business owners with local, state, and federal entities, resources, and programs. There's so much information out there. We want to put it all in one place, organize it so Plumas County business owners know what's available for them, where the closest offices for these various programs are, who's willing to work with Plumas County, who wants to do outreach here. So there's organizations in the surrounding counties and they're trying to do outreach here. We want to just put that all up at our website, and you don't have to register, you don't have to log in, or we just want everyone to be able to see that, try and make it as easy as possible for business owners to get up and running with as much support as possible. So a little bit of what we're going to have there is information about where Plumas County business owners can receive business development and planning assistance. Sierra SBDC would be one, Plumas County Planning Department. We've got veterans business offices, women's business offices, lots of different resources for that, free counseling. And then business support such as accounting, legal, marketing, advertising, a list of what the utility companies are in Plumas County. That might make it easier for a business owner that wants to move to Plumas County to have just this all in front of them. Financial assistance, so information about loans and grants that we find, we're going to list that all there. All the workshops and trainings for business owners, and what venues there are around for networking and collaboration, such as the chambers of commerce, and support with innovation and technology, of course, since we're innovation hub. Next slide. And like I said, there's flyers on the back table back there by Layla. And if you need more information about any of what I talked about today, you can get a hold of me after the meeting or go to our website, send me an email, give me a call. And hoping to connect with some business owners. Thank you.
And before I forget, we want to thank Lila for providing us with food and drinks this morning for our meeting. Thank you very much. So this is our time for share outs. If anybody has anything. Chrissy?
Yeah, I can give you an update on the Indian Valley Community Services District. Our board meeting is this Wednesday at 5:30 at the Plumas Bank Building. We received a new engine. Well, we've had the engine for a while, but it was actually donated by Cal OES. So there's a really nice fire truck that was given to us by Cal OES, and all that paperwork has been completed. They signed it and handed over title. According to Bob Orange, there's been 6 people that have been trained to drive emergency vehicles up in Chester. So we collaborated with the Chester Fire Department and got those guys trained. There's 18 volunteers now. We're always looking for more. So the North Arm Taylorsville and Genesee fire stations have all been refreshed. They've got insulation, new sheetrock. The floors have been updated. Automated doors were just put on the station in North Arm. So a lot of that work is being done by the volunteers and some contractors that have helped us do those buildings. There's a discussion going on with the Crescent Mills Fire Department to merge with the Indian Valley Fire Department. So those discussions are in the works. As far as the water and sewer goes, the underground lines, and I don't know if this has impacted any of you, but the underground lines were being hit almost daily by PG&E because of the locates. We couldn't accurately locate the lines. And that was impacting our staff. They were spending all day just, sealing up leaks and stuff. So we hired someone to go in and actually locate all the facilities and update our maps. So they're now located accurately and mapped. So we're moving into the modern world, which is good. The first phase bidding for the water main and lateral replacement project is complete. That's going to replace the underground lines for at least 30% at Greenville. And that is a shovel-ready job that's going and going to be done this summer. As you know, both the sewer plants in Greenville and on Hot Springs Road and Highway 89, those have been completely rebuilt, new pumps, new controls. Taylorsville has been delayed, but that is on track to be completed due to sourcing. It's been delayed, but it's on track to be complete this summer. So that's all I have.
Very much. Joan Carter.
Hi, everybody. I have a couple of thank yous to give out. NBCSS was able to get crayons for the little dozer through Plymouth County through Nicole Rickard. And so I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that that's where those came from. And we were so grateful for their contribution. And also, I have a poster back there that I'm going to be moving out to the tool trailer a little later on. We were able to get contributions from the Habitat for Humanity down in Chico, Butte County Habitat. They gave us a considerable number of hand tools. And we're going to be able to supplement what's in the tool trailer with the hand tools. And there's a lot of them. And we were so grateful for that because the tool trailer, if you want to take something out of the tool trailer, you have to produce some kind of credit card or something, just like you do when you go to Lowe's or someplace like that. With our tools from Habitat, those are available to anybody. All you have to do is sign up and give us your contact information. And so if you don't have a credit card or something like that, these are available to anybody who needs them. And we also have some nails and screws and hardware and those kind of things. If you need something for a project, they'll be outside the tool trailer. You can just stop by anytime and take what you need. We're more than happy for you to have whatever they gave us. So we'll be over at the tool trailer today. We're going to be giving away some prizes and we'll have that poster out so you can see what's in the tool trailer. It's available for everybody. And I hope you'll all come by and check it out because it's an amazing, amazing gift that we've been given for 2 years. So, and I also want you to know it's not just tools. We have shovels, we have rakes, we have all the kinds of things that you're going to need to clean your property. So if you don't have those kinds of things available to you, you don't have to go buy them. You can come and get those things from us and you can clean up your property and you don't have to spend any more dollars than you need to. So thank you again to Habitat for Humanity for producing that for us. And I hope you guys will all stop by and say hi and take a look at what we have.
So just to add to what Joan just said, the tool trailer is open on Thursdays and Fridays from noon until 5. And you do need to have a credit card or some way to leave a deposit. That doesn't mean that it costs you anything to borrow the tools, but there's a deposit in case the tool doesn't come back. Then you would be paying for the tool. But if you bring the tool back, the deposit goes back to you. And so the tools are all free for use. In fact, one of the things we had to agree to is that nobody is allowed to make any money from these tools. They can't be used commercially. They are free tools for the name or for the residents here to use. So I wanted to make sure we clarified that.
Thank you, Tess. Nancy Presser.
Sherry. Good morning, everybody. What are my announcements today? Okay, today we do have disaster case management representation in the back from Plymouth Rural Services and North Valley Catholic Social Services. So come by if you see us and you know us and you work with us, or if you need to work with us, come by, say hi. We'll help hook you up with a disaster case manager. I also wanted to say that we had our second super successful Nature Made Kids Camp yesterday. We had 20 registrations come in on Thursday evening. So it was yesterday, Friday. I don't know the total numbers. Bridget? 78. Yeah. So we're tickled pink that we are serving the children of Indian Valley and they get to come out and play for a day, and the parents can come and play as well. Next, at the thrift store, come by, it's over by at the spot, and they're having a raffle. So they're giving away, I don't know what's in the raffle basket, so be surprised. But it should be fun. The chamber is helping us out with that, but come through, see what these ladies have done. I would say I'm kind of like the media person, so I do all the emails. But I have seen these ladies who are mature, work their tushies off for the past 3 works. You're not old. You're not old. Maybe chronologically, but I know you're not old in your head. So these ladies have worked their buns off to to bring this back to the community, and it looks amazing. And we're already taking credit card sales. We're already receiving income. And just so you know, not all of the income, but I would think we have to 80% of it we donate back to the community, servicing those that need funding. We do scholarships, so it's not like it's a profit, it's a nonprofit, and we put all of our dollars back into the community. And then lastly, I was asked to announce 2 things from Plymouth Arts that they would love help promoting. One is Plymouth Arts is having a kids art program, and it's in each of the townships in Plymouth County. So I have little flyers. There's going to be one in Taylorsville, one in Greenville, one in Chester, one in Portola. So if you have children, I think they have to be in school aged, 2nd grade and above. But there's a registration, and if there's a cost, however, there's a huge amount of scholarship money. So I was told that every child in Indian Valley could attend free if they just applied for a scholarship. So please take one of these, or if you have children in your life or know people who have children, this was going to be a wonderful week of a wonderful month. I think it's in the month of July of art classes. And the other thing they've asked me to promote is the art barn at the Plymouth County Fairgrounds. Every child who submits a piece of artwork, it will be on the walls. And kids love that. My child loved that when they were young.
18 now, just graduated. But yeah, I have information on that, if Plumas Arts will help to frame the piece of art for you. They'll help you with the registration for the fair. So if you need, yeah, because Sherry's going, wow. I'm going, yeah, it's really cool. So if you want more information, I'll have that back with me. Bye.
Julie Leland with Indian Valley Park and Recreation District.
First of all, Katie, I wanted to let you know that I know of a senior that has that same coloring book and is enjoying it. So it's not just kids that enjoy that. Furthermore, I wanted to let you know, last time we spoke, I think I had 4 or 5 lifeguards available. Only one attended the class and graduated. So our pool is going to be somewhat restricted as far as our programs are concerned. However, we are going to continue with the swim school, water aerobics, and we will have some limited open swim this year, which will include Saturdays, so families can attend as well. So we wanted to let all of you know that it's important to us to keep the community pool going. And we also have a volunteer who is asking for volunteers during our open swim, a couple hours, just to help sign up people and to make it available to us. One thing I do want to mention is that the open swim, if the children have to be with an adult, if they are 12, if they are under 12 years of age, I know that might be an issue for some of you. However, we have one lifeguard for a bunch of kids, so we need to have some help with adults. And we feel that the parents that are having their kids come could help as well. Any other things available? We're going to have a IVRPD meeting on Tuesday. It will be a Zoom meeting. We'll let the public know probably by newspapers to the information for that. It's at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. So hopefully you will be able to attend and see what we're doing as far as the pool is concerned. I guess that's it. Thank you. Oh, yes, sorry, I forgot. We do have a flyer in the back, and the flyer is basically to ask you what you want for the IVRP property. It's a flyer that you can fill it out, leave it here if you want. You could drop it off in our office, which is located in the CSD building or CSD office area. And that way we can go further and see what the public is looking for as far as the park property is concerned. Thank you.
Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I haven't been able to make the last couple months meetings, and I just got to say, I'm so impressed by all the things happening in our little town that is still mostly not here, but is here in person anyway. So that's really just impressive and amazing. I'm going to be wearing 2 hats today. So first off, wearing my engineer hat. This is kind of a comment maybe back to DFC or to whoever's listening. Due to the ongoing delay in some of these PG&E settlements, it has become brought to my attention that there is a need for some kind of fund that can short-term loan cash for ongoing rebuilds so that the contractors themselves are not having to foot the bill. We have local guys who are working really hard to try and rebuild these houses, and not everyone is able to keep the cash flow going because they were expecting to get their settlements by now. So if anyone knows, I'm not a finance person, I'm an engineer, but if anyone knows of any way to make that happen, where there is some kind of fund that can loan money to homeowners that are trying to rebuild and are still waiting on that PG&E money to come in, so our contractors are not kind of going way out on a limb to keep our rebuilding process going. We don't want to see any of these buildings stop, right? Because time is of the essence. So that's one thing I just wanted to put out to the community. The other thing is I'm going to wear my parent hat here for a minute. As some of you may know, hopefully all of you know, we became aware of some change in plans for the Greenville High School a couple months ago. PUSD has essentially decided to shift what they are offering due to financial reasons in our town. And the majority of the course offerings are going to be online for students that continue to enroll at Greenville High School. I personally feel like it is very, very important that we keep one of our remaining buildings in town open and full of kids. I know that there are many, 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 many parents who would like to see us collaborating to provide education for our children. And so there were a couple meetings that were put together by the superintendent of PUSD out of Quincy. And I kind of felt that maybe we should have a meeting, just our community, to decide how we felt about it. We had that on Thursday. It was not a whole lot of people were able to make it. It's a very busy time of year. However, this is a very time-sensitive issue. So those of us that did attend came together with a list of kind of what is it we want as a community. And basically what we came up with, we had 5 big bullet points that kind of condensed down into these 3 points. We want to house both high school programs, PUSD, PCS, on the Greenville High School campus. We're a small, thank you. We are a small community. These kids want to be together. Kids are not going to attend school if they're not with their peers. And we have a public building that is currently sitting empty. And when buildings sit empty, well, predominantly empty, when buildings sit empty, they dilapidate, right? And we need to keep this building occupied. Number 2, all of our students should have access to in-person A through G classes. These are the classes required to attend a college. So in other words, no one should be forced to take an online class. We saw what online learning did to kids during COVID, as well as any CTE or elective classes and extracurricular activities that are offered, including, but not limited to, sports, band, shop, ag science, and culinary. We combined our sports last year and it went very well. The kids loved it. I think the town loved it because we had sizable teams. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to combine other things. I know that the band instructor would love to have more people to fill out her ensemble. And right now, she's only able to offer that class to the PUSD students. And I'd like to just really point out here, for those of you that don't know, both PUSD and Plumas Charter School are both public schools. They're both public schools paid for with public dollars. Okay, these are our schools. Both of these are our schools. Number 3, the Greenville High School and its facilities. We changed this in the petition. The Greenville schools really is what we want, and facilities are to be maintained in good operational order. At the last superintendent-led meeting, it became known to us that portions of our building are maybe not even really safe for in-person classes, that there's delayed maintenance that has been happening on our school, and that's not okay. We need to keep our building in good operational order. So I am here as a parent now telling you that because so many people couldn't make the meeting, we were like, how do we get our voice heard? And so we came up with the idea of doing a petition so that folks who weren't able to attend the meeting, but who support these things can have their voice heard. I have several petitions in the back. If you're interested, please sign. If you know of other people who would want to sign, I have a couple extras I can send out for copies, or get my information and I can email you. One other real quick thing that we became aware of at Thursday's meeting, as you know, we have 2 volunteer members of the PCOE Foundation Board, Kes Porter and Dan Kearns. And originally, so step back a bit, there was some PG&E money that came to the PCOE Foundation, $2 million for the intent purposes of repairing some of the Dixie Fire damage. Now, the 3 people who have voting members on that board, none of them live in Indian Valley. And we were supposed to have voice with our 2 volunteer members, and then they decided, oh, never mind, we don't want that. So it has become clear that if we personally feel that, you know, Greenville was impacted the most by the Dixie Fire, and that that funding should really go to the Greenville schools, especially since they're talking about, you know, practically shuttering our high school. Anyway, what we found out is that there's going to be a meeting on Wednesday where they're going to be talking significantly about what to do with this money. And there are people in other communities who are trying to vie for this money, scholarships, you know, all good things, but not necessarily what the money was intended for, which is to help repair the damage of the Dixie Fire. And Greenville lost 1 school in the Dixie Fire, and now we're having major issues with our numbers in our other schools. So time is of the essence with these petitions. So if you would like to become involved, get in contact with me, sign a petition, share it amongst your friends. We also have email lists that we're putting together. If folks want to email, if folks want to attend these meetings, a lot of us that are involved work full-time or have kids full-time and can't necessarily attend these meetings, but we need people to go to the PCOE Foundation meetings. We need people to go to the school board meetings and have our voice heard, because right now we don't have any representation with the people who are making the decisions about the future of our education and, frankly, the future of our town. Because if our school closes, it's a really hard ask to ask people to invest a lot of money and time and resources to rebuilding in our town. So that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lindsay. Any other share outs at this time? Oh, I'm sorry, Katie, where?
One item that I did not mention earlier regarding the ESW committee of the DFC is that tomorrow is the community picnic. I thought Dan was going to be here to talk about it, but he's not. So let me mention that tomorrow afternoon, evening in the Greenville Park, food, music, and everybody's welcome to come. The 3rd Sunday of each month. And on a business note, I wanted to let people know that the businesses that were in Greenville, which are now temporarily located in Quincy, are doing quite well. And the reason you haven't seen me here the past 2 months is because I've been taking the Miniflex microphone business out to the world. We've been attending multiple trade events all up and down the West Coast, and we're poised to resume production of this product here currently in Quincy and ship them all over the world. So there's one Greenville business that is coming back to life. And as a way to celebrate, I have these cute little drawstring bags at the back, and you're welcome to have them. I have lots of them. Take plenty of them if you wish. And they're all usable for so many cool things. So the second Greenville business that is still going is Music Land of Greenville, which is still in its lifeboat in the toy store in Quincy, where you can also get ice cream any day that it's open. And I want to thank the kitchens so much for helping to keep Music Land going and actually expanding a bit at their facility in Quincy, so that at least we have one music retail store here in Plymouth County. And finally, I'm working very hard to bring an ice cream service back to Greenville. And it's a process, but I'm working on it. So hopefully soon I'll be able to make a definitive announcement about that. But for the moment, enjoy the free ice cream at the back. Get yourself a little Miniflex swag bag and come visit the toy store in Quincy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And
Maybe one more point.
sure.
Sorry, I didn't see. Thank you.
I forgot to mention with the Chamber of Commerce, we have a little piece of property that is just adjacent on Pine Street to where the spot is. Kind of an awkward little spot. Actually, it's where the hot dogger was initially early last year. The chamber itself is trying to decide what to do with that property and also how to have a presence right now until a building is built. So we have a little survey back there. If anybody has opinions regarding that, please fill that out, leave them there, I'll grab them. You can also come by the spot or at the Way Baby, verbally give your opinions and I'll take that, I'll note that down for the chamber. Options are, perhaps, kind of a temporary, and I know we're all sick of temporary, but we need businesses running and having presence. So a temporary, shed type of kiosk on that spot for now until we decide what location where that might be. So please see those, surveys back there. And I also wanted to reiterate around the schools. I'm very passionate about that too. Clearly, my kids are graduated, but my kids are now looking at coming and living here. And the schools is one of the biggest issues of not doing that when they're raising their children. So I'll have this petition at the Way Baby as well. So please pass that on. Super important for our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tracy Ferguson from the Planning Department, Kings County.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy Ferguson, the Plymouth County Planning Director, here for an update on the long-term recovery plan process. And I was thinking when we started last fall, we've been at this for about 9 months now and working on our recovery support functions. You all know economic, infrastructure, housing and commercial buildings, natural cultural resources, and health and social services. So where we're at, we had the community meeting number 2 in April, and I'm happy to announce we now have the summary report. So several copies in the back, pick up a summary report. This is all of your feedback to us in writing the long-term recovery plan. What are your vision and values for the plan? What are the priority projects? Where do you want to see those projects? So a lot of great information that we're now using to write the plan. In the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll have the public review draft out. So by end of July, be looking for that. And then come August, we'll be back out in community meeting number 3 to then socialize the plan with you, get feedback on what you think about the different, descriptions of the impacts and the needs and the funding sources, the implementation, the maintenance of the plan, and so forth. So please mark your calendars, August. I know end of the summer, but maybe school will be back in session and we can have more people in town and attending that last meeting. So culmination of when we expect the plan to go to the board of supervisors is more in the September timeframe. So we want to get it out to the community in August, have a board meeting even in August, and then come September, go through the board of supervisors for formal adoption. So we started with 54 projects. We've consolidated down to 27 with more programmatic topics. So a lot of that information in here about priorities on projects. And again, what's the vision and the different values. So thanks very much.
Any other share outs this time? Okay, so I think we're on to questions and answers. And so anyone that presented, if you want to come up and we'll entertain any questions that people might have. Let's see. We could give them that one.
So my name's Danny Steyer. Before I've got a number of questions, comments. But then also I do want to comment that it was part of a group that we gathered together for oversight committee, a large group, but it dwindled down to 2. Then we had a third. Now it looks like we kind of lost that person. So we're struggling to try to provide meaningful input for the community. But we're still trying to endeavor to make that happen. So I kind of want to couch some of the things I'm saying with that in mind. So number one, and I don't want to offend Jane or our webmaster, but we still don't have last month's meeting PDF up on the website. So we need the meaningful communications with people. The Zoom recording is there, but the PDF for the meeting minutes is not up. So just kind of a feedback there on that. comment for DTSC. I'm a little confused about the letter slash certificate of completion. Don't we also have to have something from Plymouth County before anything can go forward? So I believe that's going to be a combined letter.
Well, so this. Okay, so the letter of completion that we produce, yes, it does go to Plumas County. It also goes to the property owner to let them know that they should, it basically informs Plumas County the work that DTSC is doing is done so they can move forward. So one thing that Kimmy and I and some of us others were talking about today was that letter of completion. The moment that work is done, obviously that letter does not just appear out of the air and fly to the owner and they suddenly have it. So what we're trying to do is put together something else that might mimic the letter of completion so that as soon as we are done, that is something that Plumas County can get, the property owner can get saying, hey, your property's returned. We don't have the letter of completion yet, but we are done. So does that address your question?
So the answer is I'm expecting is that we have to get a letter from the county before we can proceed to go do anything. So your letter kind of informs us that your work is done, but we're still waiting for the county to say your property is released. That's a letter we have to see.
From environmental health.
Correct,
Yes.
correct. From environmental health, we have to have that before we can get action on our permits.
I believe, well, the letter, yes, the letter of completion or something from us to the county. Kimmy, did you have?
So the letter goes to environmental health at the same time. And so with people want to, and Tracy, maybe you can help us out with this too. I believe that, and we don't understand the whole processes of what the county, of how the county's doing it. But I believe that as soon as they get the letter of completion, that then if somebody wants to have to submit a permit to do work, that then it's they can move forward.
I just wanted to confirm that because we'll have applications in, but we're not going to get a release from the county to proceed with our permits until the environmental health submits that out. So I just wanted to clarify that. And another comment here, LMNOP design interns. Careful here too. I'm an engineer, so I'll have to say, kind of couch this. Please, I know that you're here and looking around at things, but in the designs and the things that you put together, I know it's fun in the designs, but please keep them functional, okay? Because I've seen in the past, some of the that don't mind that they're not four-season designs. Or, and I think it was a slip of the tongue when you said something about city planning. No, we're not city. This is a town. This is country. So just a gentle comment there. No stones, please. Just a comment.
Thanks, Danny. Other questions for our presenters? Oh, hold on.
I no longer have kids in this, I no longer have kids in the school. I'm a retired teacher from Greenville. Are we also able, even though we're not gonna have any more kids, able to participate and sign the petition? Because it's very important to me, even though my own kids aren't going to be attending, that I can say, don't get rid of us. We're still here. So.
Yeah, so we had that discussion when we were working on the petition actually, and we feel that this actually is an issue that affects the whole county, right? Because and maybe even beyond that, frankly, I think we are dealing with a unique set of circumstances here, given the fire. However, our plight is not unique to rural America. And I think there is an opportunity here for hopefully some, out of the box collaborative thinking on how to come up with programs that can work within small budgets and still provide a quality education for our students. And what we're basically requesting of the powers that be is that they give our staff a chance to try and figure that out without shutting it down all the time. And letting us have a voice. So anyway, what we decided to do is there's a name, signature, and then a zip code portion there. Obviously, Indian Valley residents have a really strong stance here because even if you don't have kids, if we don't have a school, there's not going to be a community, and then we don't have a town, and your property values are going to suffer, and it just goes on and on. However, if things don't go well for Greenville schools, it's also going to affect Quincy and Chester folks significantly. And part of what we're asking for, the details, there's a bunch of details in the petition. So take a second to read that, because we're putting a very specific proposal together in the hopes that this will help them, work on a solution. However, we are saying that, they're coming to us and saying PUSD is losing all this money every year on our site. And we're turning it back and saying, well, we have figured out a way to significantly reduce that loss and still provide quality education for our kids. However, we still feel that PUSD needs to put some money into that pot. They still need to be willing to spend some money on our town and our schools, and that will affect all the other students in the rest of the county, because that money goes into, it's one district. So we did put the zip code line in there so they can see, who is it an Indian Valley person or a Quincy person who's supporting this. But hopefully, again, I just want to reiterate, we're on a tight timeline because Wednesday there's a big meeting, and we're hoping to have a stack of these to hand to Kest and Dan to show them when they walk in.
Thank you. That's a great point. Thank you. And
So from the Zoom, I have both a question and an answer. Start with the answer to Dan's question earlier from Natasha PG&E. She says that the 200 amp is the new standard. If the services are being restored and they had 100 amp before the fire, they will have 200 amp after the fire. So that's good news for that. And then another question from another Zoomer is, do we have an update on how the fiber optic internet that Frontier was going to put in, how is that going? Is there anyone here that can answer that question?
I don't know that I could answer it, but I have not been up Old Han Road, and I don't know if anybody has, but I do plan to give you guys an update at the next one, or at least have Frontier at this next meeting. So, but their timeline was to be up there working. It's going to be undergrounding from Lake Almanor down Old Han Road, but I don't know where they're at in that process. And I know there was some SEQA documents and stuff through the Forest Service that needed to be completed to start that. So hopefully to have that update for you soon.
thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. Jack Steyer here. John, with regard to DTSC site mitigation and so forth, you had on your slides scheduled risks. I didn't see coordination with property owners and neighbors. Now, two properties I have in town and around. I did have one telephone call from DTSC asking permission to come onto the property to take care of remediation on the other side. But with regard to all the excavation that's going on, I've received zero communication. And so I think that communication with owners and neighbors ought to be on that, the risks has been on that slide to let people know that that is something that you intend to do.
No, that's a good point. So one of the problems back in 2022 when we started this project, and I wasn't involved at that time, but one of the problems was that, there was a lot of communication with the community going into it, getting people to sign up to allow us access so we could do this work. And some people decided not to do it, and that's fine. And then when the rains started, I believe in October, there was this sense that, hey, DTSE is not telling us what they're doing. Well, that's because we stopped work because, and we did send out, and Kimmy, I'm not going to try to draw on her, but she knows about more of this than I do, but yeah, you can blow your own horn. So we sent out flyers letting people know of different things that were going on at that time. Now, since we restarted, what we haven't done, I don't think we sent out like another blast where we did. Okay. When was it sent? Okay. Now, I don't know when you talk about your specific property, if you said you had 2 properties or both of them within the program.
One of them is and one of them is not.
Okay.
The one of them is I got a phone call, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whenever there was going to be scraping going on.
Okay.
Primary cleanup. The other one, we happen to be, an island, so all around us is being dug out. And when we come to town and see that, oh crap, the dirt's going away around our area, that's kind of startling. It's, okay, what are we going to have to do to make sure that our place doesn't wash into the neighbor's place? Because that's going to happen, and it has happened. So that's some of the things I'm going to talk with Tracy about.
So as far as for example, if we start work on a particular person's property, we don't contact them and say we're about to start work. Because the real effort we're trying to do is like hitting as many properties as possible continuously. So now when we think, hey, we're done, one of the things that I pointed out on that slide is that we give the owner and we contact the owner again as we say, hey, we're done with the work that we've done that we needed to do here. You can take a site walk, and that's another opportunity for the owner to see what we did, see what the condition of the property is, identify additionally, hey, this is not what I expected, or this is what I expected, but I could use some help with this or whatever it is. So what I would ask you, and we can talk after the meeting if you want, and it would be, what are your specific concerns? Because what I have found, at least like when we came to the last meeting, there was someone whose property we were cleaning up. We hadn't done it yet. And she had some questions about what could be done and what couldn't be done. So we talked to her after the meeting. We went to her property. We gave her some input because some of what she wanted, we couldn't do. The other part of it, we were doing. So, we can talk after the meeting if that helps you. We could look at the property. If that's not conducive to you, you want to look at your property again or whatever before you talk to us, get the information off of the slides so that you could call me, you could call Kimmy, and you could ask us questions directly. We could figure that out. And we have people out here all the time that we can help coordinate all this. But we have been making efforts through this time, through when we first started, to try to keep people informed. But there have been lapses where it's not necessarily a failure on our part, but we can't oh, we're starting 12 properties this week. Let's call all of these people. Oh, we only reached 6 of them. Let's put voicemails. Oh, we can't leave 5 voicemails. So let's email them. Oh, 3 of those emails returned. So if you put it together like that, it's primarily Kimmy and I that are at a higher level running the project. We have some additional support at DTSC, but it's more useful for you to say, hey, John, these are my particular concerns. Let's figure them out.
Cool. Okay, great. Let's talk.
Okay.
Next comment would be for a question, actually, would be for Tracy. In the past, there was a discussion of runoff from the hills down onto Main Street and across, and it was brought up at a meeting, and there were a lot of folks that were pretty excited about being able to do something about that. You and I talked, and there was going to be action done by Public Services. If you want to take a walk after the meeting, you can come and take a look at what the runoff has done from this recent storm to the foundation that was recently poured. I mean, there's been several yards of dirt moved by the runoff. So this is something that needs to be addressed there, and it will ultimately needs to be addressed for all the properties, I guess, north on Main Street.
Okay, that must have been, yeah, like 4 or 8 weeks ago, we spoke. I talked to John Manley, forwarded your pictures and information and so forth, and he was gonna put that to staff. So I can, if John Manley or Public Works staff sounds like has not contacted you to date, then I can liaison them to you. And sure, I'm happy to take a look, take additional pictures and get that information off to Public Works because they are the source to fix that.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for mentioning, and thank you, John. We'll talk.
Any other questions of our presenters? Seeing none, I guess our meeting is going to be adjourned for today. And see you over at the spot, see you at the thrift shop, and thank you very much for your attendance and kind respect today. Thank you very much.